I'm actually excited for these releases, figure releases of the Dragon Ball line, toy line. As everyone knows,
It's still like a dance with it.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with my hands.
It's the
Hands.
Dragon Ball Figuarts reveal dance.
No. He's doing Never Gonna Give You Up. He's trying to rickroll everyone. That's what's happening.
Anyway, guys, that was an episode. Thank you.
We'll see you next week or the week after.
It feels like the full Dookie Super Saiyan Goku.
I want to learn more and more and more.
Oh yeah, it's the champ. Let's go.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Plastic Power Podcast. This is Star Blast Studios alongside Daredevil 19 and Champ Animations. And today on this episode, guys, we're going to be talking about the new Dragon Ball Daima and the other figures that have been recently released. I'm super excited that we're back again doing this podcast. We did have to go on hiatus for a little bit. Stuff is going on in people's lives, but I'm very excited to be back. Sean, I hope you're doing good. You can see Sean's set up in a new place right now. And actually, I kind of like the setup a little bit more that he's got right there.
It's better than the figures in the background.
Well, no, actually, I think because it seems like you're a little bit more comfortable. Like, the figures aren't like so close by and everything like that.
Yeah. That apartment was kind of small.
You got room to.
You can breathe.
Yeah, I can fly around.
There we go. Yeah, exactly.
I just start flying around the room.
Yeah.
I'm sure Luffy enjoys the space. Is that him laying down right now?
Yes, he's right here. Oh yeah, you can see.
He doesn't have to be on your chair for at all.
Yeah, right.
So that's
and then keeps moving throughout the episode. And then I have to take him down. Yeah.
Like, look, Luffy, get out of here. All right.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
New York Comic Con.
New York.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
Comic Con. Wow, that happened.
Yeah.
So we got. I'm actually excited for these releases, figure releases of the Dragon Ball line, toy line. As everyone knows,
It's still like a dance with it.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with my hands.
It's the
Hands.
No.
Dragon Ball Figuarts reveal dance.
No. He's doing Never Gonna Give You Up. He's trying to rickroll everyone. That's what's happening.
Anyway, guys, that was an episode. Thank you.
We'll see you next week or the week after.
I want the rickroll to be edited in the middle of that. That'd be funny.
God.
Well, we'll throw a little bit of the song in there. I don't think we'll get copyright. It should be fair use.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, go ahead and start us off, Champ. I know you're very excited about it.
Yeah. So as everyone knows, while GT the show isn't my favorite Dragon Ball material, I do love the figures. As you know, your boy got the GT demonical fed adult Goku, Super Saiyan 4s.
You have to watch Champ's short of That's What He Lives For. This is my life.
So they did show off
GT
more
Goku.
of the GT Goku. They did show off at New York Comic Con more of the kid version of GT Goku. Still sad that he doesn't have a tail, but it's whatever. Definitely going to buy two so I can.
That's the next
customize
Kid Goku that's releasing, right? That wasn't the exclusive, correct?
No, not the exclusive. No.
Okay. So that's one of the upcoming releases that we already knew about. Mm-hmm. But the new reveals, go ahead, Champ. Tell them what they were.
GT Trunks and GT Pan. I know SSJ Goshen Ford out there is screaming.
I tagged her in a post.
Yeah,
she tagged her in a post.
I'm super excited about that. I'm excited about it because I actually don't mind the designs of Pan and Trunks in that. I actually like them a lot, mainly because GT Final Bout. I love those designs. Used to love that game as a kid. Interesting enough, like Trunks, his trench coat, I was like wondering how they're going to do that, and it looks like it's articulated from the back because there was like a leaked photo of like it actually fell over at the panel or at the
it is articulated. You can see the cut in it. Okay.
Yeah, it has like a little like wing flaps, kind of like the Piccolo capes are.
Yeah.
The jacket will be articulated and not get in the way.
Probably like how Revoltech does it. They probably put a ball hinge in there or something.
Yeah, so. It looks like a ball hinge, so I'm very excited.
As long as it's not like the Xenoverse Trunks.
Well, actually, that one had potential to work. It's just the rubber was way too freaking hard. If it was done more so like, you know, Goku Black or like the Demonical Fate Resurrection F Goku, I feel like it would have been a lot better. You know, and I know that they have over the years they've absolutely done a better job of like, you know, incorporating you know, plastic pieces and such, you know, surrounding it. You've kind of sorry, not plastic pieces, like more rubber pieces, and we've kind of seen that I think with the Figuarts Nobara from Jujutsu Kaisen, as well as I think Sasuke, the Figuarts Sasuke has like a rubber.
Yeah, they did it a lot with the Naruto stuff too.
Yeah, even Broly. So yeah, if they were to re-release as Trunks, it would be a lot better. Oh yeah, Zamasu too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very happy that we finally have an adult version of this pan. You know, the pan that should. It's amazing that we got this pan before the actual GT one, which released a lot sooner. But it's like, hey, I know we're still taking those, bro. Absolutely.
She's not an adult. She's still a kid.
Okay, sorry, not adult. Apologies. Okay, more older version of that pan. Yeah, I don't know why I said adult. Excuse me.
Yeah, she's more like a 12 maybe.
Yeah, she's like around Gohan's age, like Cell Saga.
During the Cell Saga, yeah. She's got. Yeah, I like that
adult
design.
Pan. We still haven't gotten that, dude.
Adult pan.
Okay.
I'll mention this later when we talk about Daima, but that would been funny. Adult pan.
Everyone, technically in that show, everyone's an adult while still being a kid.
Pretty much, and then Goten and Trunks got turned into babies.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have the new
that
GT
is weird.
stuff. I feel like we're gonna get more GT stuff since they're doing.
I hope so. I really we need more GT stuff. Like the only time we're getting GT stuff is in Dragon Stars. We got.
I want Aizen Nova. Yeah, Omega Shenron. I want those three for sure.
Gogeta. I mean, come on. How you cannot have an
SSJ4
Gogeta? Dragon Stars just released another SSJ4 Gogeta with a screaming face and power effects.
He'll probably be next. It'd be so stupid if they didn't make him, you know?
No, but it makes sense. They're kind of like
Vegeta with the mustache.
At the same time, though, it makes sense to like release the Super Saiyan 4 versions of the figure and such, because like if they were just to give us all the GT stuff right now, right away, it's like then there's not going to be any reason for people to want to pick up all the other stuff. Like I know there's only a few hardcore fans of, you know, GT Pan, like Goshen, and, you know, other certain fans like, you know, people who like Trunks and such. So you know, it's a very specific, but I think a lot of people can agree that most people love Super Saiyan 4 and Omega Shenron and that whole thing that happened towards the end of GT. I'm mostly the figure that I want mostly isn't even Omega Shenron. I'll actually take a baby Vegeta before we get Gogeta.
You were gonna say that. I knew it.
That design is one of the coolest designs we have ever seen, you know, throughout all of Dragon Ball for a villain. Yeah, it doesn't look like Vegeta. That's my only thing about it, but it's like still it's a dope design. And it
is.
Mm-hmm. And eventually, maybe eventually down the road, we can get a Grade 8 version of Baby Vegeta. That would also be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, they could do that too. They already made the regular Grade 8, so why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, as long as they sell well, which I'm pretty sure they will, there is still a big enough fan base for Dragon Ball GT, even though most fans dislike it. Like I said, there's still a fan base for it. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wonder. I just realized with the Trunks. Since he has a trench coat on, and you could see like the flaps on his I don't know how else to explain it. But the flaps for the trench coat is on his shorts. I wonder if that you can take that off and give him the version without the jacket, because there's times in the anime he doesn't have the jacket on.
I mean, that's right. Looks like it could be removable. He just needs the interchangeable arms. Does he have sleeves, right, with his black shirt?
He has like short sleeves, I believe.
Like okay, so yeah, they could.
Like a shirt. Yeah.
I do like how they did the pocket too, putting his hand in the pocket.
Yeah, I wonder how that like happens. Is it like
It's gonna be like half a hand, I bet. It'll probably be a hand that looks like this with the fingers chopped off.
Personally, if it was up to me, how I would have designed the Trunks is that I would have made the jacket part, like, you know, the part where it, like at the waist, like I would have made that like a separate piece so that you can pretty much like do what you did with Hercule, like pull the figure apart from the legs and then, like, you know, remove that, and then, you know, move it, make everything, you know, essentially removable. It would be a little bit more complex, and I think it would, you know, bring up the price of the figure, not to mention the risky maneuvers when it comes to QC issue with depending on the factory that makes it and such. But I think
what happened with the last Trunks we got. with the legs.
I don't even want to get it. I don't even want to get
James
into that.
Brown legs.
That is like legitimately depressing. But if they were to do that and they do it right, then we could have a very good Trunks. But unfortunately, it's like it's GT. They're not going to do like it's Figuarts. They're not going to do anything crazy. That's why we didn't get the tail on Kid Goku for whatever reason, even though he had that for like a good chunk of the series. But
like at least 90% of the series.
No,
80.
No. Just until up until like the baby arc.
Because he had to grow it back out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
They had to pull it out.
I haven't watched that in so long. Probably like in like 2009 or 2010.
Something like that, yeah. But in other
GT
news,
stuff's looking good. So
we
continue,
have
Star Blast.
in other news we do have some other releases. One of which went up for pre-order, but another one which is being released specifically for the Battle of Gods movie, which is coming back into theaters, and that is a newly repainted Super Saiyan God Goku. Now, I'd say with for this Goku, Sean, you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, it looks like he's more vibrant in the color scheme from what I could see here, and this figure has been super duper pricey on the secondary market. So I mean, it's good for people who don't have it or people who missed out on it. If you want to get a Super Saiyan God Goku, then this is a great opportunity for you as a collector to pick him up. It looks very similar to the original release, but like I said, the orange looks a bit more darker compared to the gi that he had when he first released. So the repaint, you could definitely see the color difference in it. And
I'm gonna go pull this out real quick. Keep talking.
Yeah, there's not too much. A disappointing thing about it is, like what we were talking about before we started the episode, Star Blast was saying this was a great opportunity for them to throw it on a 3.0 body, but it's Machinations. They love their repaints, and they're just like, you know what, let's just repaint the one we already have. Even though we have the 3.0 body, let's just repaint this one.
I'm not sure. It looks like it could be, almost the exact same paint job as the. Actually, maybe not. It's a little bit more red than.
Look how much darker the orange is.
Okay, yeah, it is. This one right here is the event exclusive with the custom hair, but it's insane. The only reason why this works is because the very first Super Saiyan God Goku needed to be properly repainted because it just why did they do that yellow in the first place? Now we got this one, which
it's similar to that one.
Yeah, it did heavily upgrade it. Now the new one is darker. And to be honest, I love the new faceplates that they did include with it, and I like that they're making it a regular release and such. But I think,
is it?
Yeah, I heard it's gonna be regular release.
Well, was the original regular release?
The original one was a regular release.
The first one was.
Okay.
Then there was the exclusive Comic-Con one.
This one,
I didn't know this one was. Yeah. I mean, I hope so, because I actually do prefer the colors on the gi on this one, and it looks like it comes with the side eyes, which you probably could just switch it out with the original. So it's not, and it looks like the hair is not translucent. So it looks like it's like a kind of like a matte fin. Well, I don't want to say it's a matte finish.
Very magenta.
It does look a little shiny.
It has like
it has a glossy finish.
Very. Well, you can't really tell. My screen's so bright. Yeah, but it does have a shiny look to it. Yeah.
I mean, if it's a regular release and not a premium Bandai,
Champ's favorite.
then I'll definitely pick it up. But
it makes sense for it to be regular release because they're timing it with the Battle of Gods movie going back into theaters. It makes sense for people to see it in store. It's coming back. I think when is it coming? I actually don't know the date when it's coming back. Do you remember when it's coming back?
Is it this year?
I think this sometime this year.
It's around the corner, isn't it?
That was such a weird thing. They played the trailer for Battle of Gods at New York Comic Con, but they didn't even show it for people, despite the movie having been out for 10 years or so by this point.
Yeah, so we were probably like, what the hell?
Whoa, what is that? It might be coming out in April because that's wait.
All right, it'll probably release around the same time when that comes out in theaters.
Oh no, it should come out this month, I believe. Yeah, it looks like it should be already out actually by the time of this recording.
October. Oh yeah, it will return to U.S. in theaters October 2023. Okay, it might be out right now.
It might be out right now. Yeah.
I mean, cool, I guess, but like if you already own the special edition DVD, which I do, You don't even need to go to the theater to watch it.
I should have, you know what? I should have saved the
technically
Super
you
Saiyan God talk for right before we talk about Dragon Ball Daima. But here, I'll get into this a little bit. I think that the reason specifically why they're re-releasing Battle of God into theaters is because they're trying to refresh people's minds on it. They did a very similar tactic right before the release of the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, in which they showed the Fusion Reborn and the Bardock special in theaters, and those and obviously those films were and the original Z Broly movie, and obviously those films were pretty much important into understanding what was being referenced in the Broly movie, that being Gogeta, original Bardock, and original Z Broly. So I think that's why Daima might have something to do with Battle of Gods. There's going to be some form of connection to it, and such. But we'll get
there could be. Yeah.
We'll retract back to that after we talk about the other reveal. But I do like the way that the Super Saiyan God Goku looks like. Yeah, I'm actually a fan of the looking to the side face, which is rare. But I think it's just because we have another array of faces and such that's included with here, and I know that was a more iconic pose with him looking off to the side like that, which it does make the figure look a lot better, I think, overall.
Well, he has the yelling, screaming face looking to the side, and the basic stern one looking to the side, and they both look pretty good actually. So no complaints from me.
Yeah, and I'm sure, and I'm sure we're still gonna get the teeth gritted face and the smirking face alongside with them. Yeah. So and if they don't, that'll be weird. But I think
only two faces.
Yeah.
We need more red hair God figures. I mean, the red hair doesn't get much as love as blue, which I'm so done with blue.
I will say this is a missed opportunity, I think, for them to make it into a 3.0, since we're literally getting into 3.0 technology with the introduction of the super with Ultimate Gohan and the Super Saiyan Goku, the battle damage one, and literally Kong Studios with the 3.0, and we're even getting Demonical Fit doing it. So Figuarts, catch up. This was the perfect opportunity to do that, and I don't know why you didn't do it.
They're the ones who started with Gohan, and I'm surprised they're not continuing with that. That's so weird.
Yeah, it is odd. It's just just reuse that body. It's pretty much the same as Goku's.
They have to retool the chest and pretty much add in legs
a couple
and
little things, but
we actually Gohan technically isn't even in the first 3.0. That would be Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Because that's where the knees came from.
Right? The pants and everything. Yeah, that's true.
So they've had it for even longer. So where's the excuse for that? But anyways, I digress.
They need to stop slacking and give us more 3.0 bodies. You are 100% correct.
All right, but the final reveal that did go up for pre-order already right now, you can get it on
Premium Bandai.
That will be
Shenron said it.
That'll be the Namek version of Vegeta, and he has a lot of very interesting faces overall. Unfortunately, this Vegeta does not have the same 3.0 technology that the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta did, and because of that, we're still suffering with the outdated ankle articulation and those weird.
I hate his ankle joints. My God, they need to fix those.
And you can just tell, even with the promo pictures, I'll be honest, it's still very much limited. I'm still picking it up because I think that the faces overall look pretty good, and obviously
it does look very much like his final battle with Goku in the Saiyan saga, but I think Tansanaro just did a better job.
They definitely stylized it better. If anything, what I'm hoping for, we can take the actual head that's on this Vegeta and put it on the old 2.0 Scouter Vegeta. Then I think we pretty much got the best version of Saiyan Saga Vegeta that you can make here.
Hopefully the head ain't too big on the older Vegeta, because you're looking at that body. I understand because of the art style, how he was drawn in the early Namek Saga. But Jesus, I know a lot of people were saying, "Oh, the chest looks a little big," but after seeing some photos, I'm like, "Oh yeah, that does look a little."
It does. It's a lot more wide.
Yeah. He has he's got that kind of Ginyu Force body thing going on,
Yeah, and it's mostly up the upper torso that's very wide.
Yeah, it's the torso's really big and wide, and his legs are kind of the same. So it's an odd choice, but maybe it will look better in hand. I don't want to say it looks totally trash until I actually have it in my hand. So it's definitely a pickup, though. I definitely want to get it.
Yeah, and same with people who missed out on the 2.0 Scouter Vegeta. This is your chance to get a more accurate looking Saiyan Saga Vegeta, if you'd like to say.
Me?
Because No, I'm just saying if you'd like to say in general. More
Okay,
accurate, looking to his final battle in the Saiyan Saga compared to the 2.0 Scouter Vegeta that we currently have that's released. So if you did miss out on that, now's your chance to pick up this one as well. So they're trying to give people like another chance to dip into the line with characters they might have missed. That's what it seems like.
Is it a premium Bandai
Yes.
exclusive?
Yes, it is.
That's what Shinron said.
Didn't you hear Shinron? Yeah, that's what Shinron said.
I blacked out for a second. Not gonna lie.
I think you were just too distracted.
No, champ,
by the
just
Shinron
listen,
voice.
man. Just say the line. Just say the line already. That's what everyone here on the podcast is waiting for.
What is this Vegeta again, champ?
Premium Bandai.
Only available on Premium Bandai. Unfortunately.
But yeah, that's
Champ's favorite saying on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm just gonna buy it off Hobby Genki because that's what I did with Yamcha.
It's still available right there on Hobby Genki, I think. I think a lot of people still haven't pre-ordered it. I noticed that a lot.
Yamcha?
No, not the Yamcha, the Vegeta. I think the Yamcha. I actually don't know if the Yamcha's still there, but I pre-ordered the Vegeta like just a couple days ago. So yeah, I think it should still be.
I'm not too happy with that Yamcha.
Usually the pre-orders for Hobby Genki last like maybe like a week after the one for Premium Bandai.
Yeah, but unless it's like a super duper popular figure and such, they're not gonna.
I don't think this Vegeta's gonna be super duper popular.
I don't think so either. Yeah, like that. Just that Super Saiyan Goku was like, and other figures were like exceptions and such. People.
Yeah.
Not being able to
If
get
it's like a version of Cooler, then everybody's gonna jump all over it, or Broly or somebody. People jump all over
unless it's Metal Cooler,
or
which is going for $120. That one I couldn't. I've kind of have regrets right now.
There's hope, Heish. There's hope. Because Dragon Stars might have their own version of Metal
It's
Cooler.
not going to be as cool as Figuarts, but it's not going to...
No, but you can army build for like $20.
That's true, yes. But I would want the main cooler to be the Figuarts, if leading the rest of
the... Smart thinking.
Yeah, I'm not gonna army build with that. I'm hoping that a third-party company will clone that cooler and make more, make it an affordable thing, because that's what we really need.
Yeah.
And honestly, with that sculpt, they probably can just beat Tamashii Nations to having an actual fourth form cooler with the mold that's already there. But I don't.
Honestly, I'm more excited for a fourth form cooler than middle cooler. I mean, that was a form I liked a lot more.
Yeah,
it's because of that shiny silver. That's what I feel like.
Shiny like a diamond.
Yeah, actually, I will say this one thing. Like, I saw the Toyotaro manga version of Ultra Instinct Goku like displayed up there. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of regret not getting that figure now, just because of how good that figure looks and the hair sculpt and everything like that. Because I got the black.
Premium Bandai?
Yes, it was, and it was a black, and that's the black hole. Like the reason I didn't get it was because we just got the black hole Goku, and it pretty much had a good chunk, all of the accessories that's already included even more accessories like an aura effect, the Ultra Instinct Destructo disc, and other alternate faces.
He did have a lot of accessories,
and Super Saiyan hairs, and a newly sculpted Ultra Instinct Omen hair, which honestly they could have just used that sculpt for the mastered one as well. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't I love that set, but it's like, man, that new one just like it looks like it's like a new car. You have to get it. I wish I did, but I'm not. But it's like it is what it is. I'm sticking with my decision. And people in the back, be quiet, Peanut Gallery. We're doing a podcast.
It's like their first proper manga version character. Yeah, their first few figures were that color, but this one I feel like they kind of went like how he's drawn in the manga. So I feel like this is a more proper manga version of a Dragon Ball character.
Although I'd argue though that the Black Hole Goku, the face that's whited out and stuff with the white eyes, that kind of also has a manga thing too, because that's how he looks when he goes Susanoo Goku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll make that at some point too. It would have to be translucent.
Give him the whole blue Ultra Instinct Goku avatar thing.
Yeah, that would be a dope exclusive. Like kind of like make a bigger version of the Ghost Goku and just slap the hair from the black hole stuff and throw it on there. That'd be very.
And it doesn't even have to be like humongous or anything. It could be like maybe like. That
nah,
big.
Screw that. I want it Great Ape size. That's what it should be. I want it to be as tall as Great Ape, like at the very least.
All right, $250.
No. It'd be. I think it'd be 150. You're not taking. It's not like.
Well, how much was was the Grade 8 Vegeta? Because
Wasn't
Kaido
he
was
like
like
100?
$240.
He was like, okay, he was 200, but I don't think that,
200.
but I don't think that they would have to like. The reason why I don't feel like the price would be as high is because they don't have to make like a new mold. They just have to make the
that's
actual
true.
pieces just
would be-
bigger to fit like that. And I've seen other third-party companies do that with certain Transformer figures, like Grimlock, for example. Like you literally during Age of Extinction, some third-party company made like a huge ass Grimlock, right? And you actually made it to where the leader class Optimus Prime can ride on top of this Grimlock, and it only costs like 150. They can do the exact same thing here with Figuarts, especially because one's a Transformer, which is literally 3 figures in one, a robot, like the vehicle or whatever thing it transforms into, and a puzzle. That's 3 figures. This is this is different. I really
It would just be
think
like
they
a
can do that.
statue, too. I mean, they can make the arms move, but...
Well, no, if it's the same mold and such, they can absolutely just make it move like any Figuarts and such.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, but I do
We'll
see your
see
point.
that until that arc finally gets animated for who knows how long that's gonna take.
Yeah.
There were some people not happy that we're getting Daima instead of Super 2. I was looking at...
Which,
like,
speaking
shorts
of
and
which,
stuff.
let's go ahead and talk about Daima. I think that everyone here has
Yes.
been waiting on that.
Yes.
So basically, new trailer dropped for Dragon Ball Daima. Now, here's the thing about Daima. I want to make it clear to everyone. I've known about this for a whole month. I didn't know that it was going to be called Dragon Ball Daima. For a while, I thought it was going to be called Dragon Ball Magic. And
Yes.
And the original premise for this was that I had known was that Goku would get turned into a kid, and so would the Supreme Kai. And this was and this was like the rumor that had been going around in the community. But I knew a little bit more about it before people like Geekdom and hype had gone out there. Just they couldn't publicly talk about it just because it was still very confidential. But now we actually are seeing the premise. It's called Dragon Ball Daima. Not just Goku and Supreme Kai gets turned into a kid. Everyone gets turned to a kid, as everyone has seen from the trailer.
Even Trunks and Goten into a baby,
which is like strange. But I think, but here's the thing: is that I've talked to Jordan the Dragon Lee. And he has a video on YouTube explaining that why the villain was a Makaio Shin. This was before the trailer even came out. Now that the trailer's out, I'm even more certain that the villain is a Makaio Shin because the entire aspect, I think, of everyone getting turned into kids is because the job of the Makaio Shin, according to an interview from Toriyama, is that they are supposed to be guiding evil, like overlooking the evil throughout the universe. Their job is basically to maintain a sense of evil, and the reason for that is because by doing so, it applies a specific set of balance. There has to be a set of balance between good and evil in the universe in order for the universe to be self-sustaining. And
just like Star Wars.
Yeah, and which I didn't, but essentially, from that that is exactly why the Supreme Kai, Kibito, and all these characters were turned into kids, because it's a means of depowering them, and that's why we're hearing now from interviews, like from like notes from animators. Anime AJ, who he's not an animator, but like he talked about this on Twitter. He got this information from animators. This is the reason why we're not going to be seeing any transformations in the show, or maybe not any transformations. We might see some, but it's mostly going to be fighting based and kung fu like and such, which is something I am looking forward to seeing. The animation looks
should be fun,
absolutely brilliant, and
it does.
This is, to me, a lot of people are out there calling the show GT 2.0, and where it does take inspiration from GT. It's not a GT 2.0, I don't think, because there's a lot more.
I doubt it will be. Plus, Toriyama's in on it too, so it's not going to turn out like GT.
But he's in on it a lot more than how he usually is when it comes to any other properties. This man now is overseeing scripts. He's looking over the scripts, doing corrections and such to it that he thinks would be better.
He even did some of the character designs.
Yeah, and we never got this in Dragon Ball Super. The closest I think he had only been to at some point was really just his influence to Toyotaro in the manga, and to what they ended up doing in Superhero. But even then, Superhero kind of did its own thing. Drifting.
And with GT, he came back towards the end or not?
No. So all he did was GT, according to an article from Kanzenshu, is that he just designed a couple of characters and some landscapes and such like that.
Okay.
He did not. I don't believe he designed Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I think that was someone else.
Yeah, that was somebody else.
Yeah, that was somebody else. But he did make the designs for Kid
Bardock.
I think he did the designs for Kid Goku, Pan, and Trunks, and I think he did He might have done the Para Brothers. I don't know.
But he didn't write anything.
No, he didn't. He
Para
didn't.
Para Brothers. Ooh, para. Ooh, para. Ooh, para.
Someone said they wanted those next in the Figuarts.
No!
No.
Why? Whoever said that, no.
Listen, they are the reason. To me, that is the entire reason why GT just like the ratings go down.
Para.
Yeah, there was a lot of bad episodes.
If I see that in Dragon Ball Daima, I'm turning off the show.
Nah, they won't be in it.
Yeah.
There's a question I want to ask you guys. Do you think it's just going to be Goku and Supreme Kai going on the adventure, or Vegeta with them? It looks like Vegeta might just go with them while they're going places on Earth. Then when they leave on the adventure, I don't think Vegeta goes with
I don't
them.
have enough information to answer that. I do think that there's going to be involvement and such from the other cast, which is like, because that's kind of what it's about. But I do think that...
I got a question.
What's up?
So, if everyone gets turned into kids, and then the kids turn into babies... Okay, 2 questions, actually. How do the androids turn into kids if their bodies can't age?
No, they're still, like, human in a way. They're more like cyborgs, because they're like, kind of human, and...
But they can't age, that's why they look...
Don't think too hard on it. It's a cartoon.
That's true, yeah.
Okay.
I don't like. We don't. Besides, we don't.
Another...
Listen, we don't even know the details of the wish. We have no idea what exactly was wished, and so we can't really. It's hard to like answer something like that because of the specifics of it.
Okay, I just have one more question. So since kids turn into babies, what happens to babies? Do they turn into fetuses, or like do they just get sucked back? Like what about?
We don't know the details of the wish. I don't know.
Do they just get sucked back into like the kids versions of Bulma and Chi-Chi? And if so, that's kind of weird.
Listen. If the entire I'll tell you. I'm gonna actually. This is perfect. I'm gonna answer.
These are questions that the fandom needs to know.
I'm gonna answer. Actually, no. Actually, I can't answer this. I don't know the exact details of the wish, but if the purpose of the wish is to depower the main cast of characters that are actually strong and can make a difference in the overall good that's being sent out in the universe, it makes sense that Goten and Trunks would be targeted because they're the strongest characters in their age range at the time of the show, and they were in the fight with Cell Max. They were heavily involved in the Buu saga. They're very strong characters and such. If anything, them being turned into babies was a necessity because if they were to still be kids, well then they would be the strongest kids out of everyone in the cast most likely.
True, but they wouldn't be able to do jack shit because they're stupid.
Well, listen, think about this. Listen, we know that all babies, from what I understand, I think the Wish specifically targeted characters with martial arts abilities and strength. That's why Android 18's baby did not actually get turned into a fetus or anything like that. That's why she's unaffected by it, okay? She can't do... That baby ain't doing anything unless it's baby... Oh my god, what happened to Pan? I hope Pan's okay. Oh, what's... We don't... Okay, we don't know what... We don't know what's... If we don't even know what timeline...
We don't even know where it's
we don't even know what time this is taking place in.
Wait, so if Gohan gets turned into a kid, we might get Pete Gohan again.
I hope so. That I actually do want to see, but at the same time, we're not getting transformations, so we don't. Mostly transformations.
He might
we don't
be the
know.
most powerful one because he turned Super Saiyan at an
You're
early
right.
age.
You're right. We could end up seeing him again, but like we don't know.
It's gonna be a Gohan story.
I wonder if we'll see Super Saiyan at least. I wonder if it takes away maybe like the god powers, but maybe they could still...
Well, that's the thing. This is supposed to take place after the Buu saga, before Battle of the Gods, before Whis and Beerus were introduced.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's going to take place after Z, before Super.
But the thing I'm also wondering is, like, is this actually canon, or is this going to be like a one-off thing that's going to be not really canon? And because I've heard 2 different things. That it's taking place after the Buu. It's going to be like a kind of like a filler thing, which if it is, that's kind of stupid because why isn't anyone going to mention like, hey, remember that time we got turned into kids? Yeah, that was freaking weird.
Well, here. I've seen articles on people like comicbook.com say that this takes place right before Battle of Gods or something like that, which doesn't make any sense because Supreme Kai and Kibito Kai are defused, which took place after Battle of Gods.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
But I understand why they're saying that because the entire setting that you see when you realize everyone's a kid, it looks like Bulma's birthday party all over again. I mean, which honestly, Bulma can have multiple different birthday parties, but it's like the setting, it gets all confusing, man. It's a kind of a mess trying to figure out what it is when it's like, we'll we'll wait on the official material to release, and then we'll have a concrete answer and know where this takes place.
Well, at first I thought it was like a fan-made thing, but then it's actually like an official thing that Toriyama's working on. So
well, I mean, they're not going to show a fan-made thing at New York Comic Con.
Yeah, that's what made me think, like, why are they showing the trailer there? And then I saw like Akira Toriyama is in on it, like saying he wrote some of the story and character designs and stuff.
But I think the most likely scenarios that this takes place in an alternate timeline, or maybe some other crazy shenanigans are going to end up happening, and maybe this will end up like fixing the problems when it comes to the end of Z. Why none of why Moro and Granola, none of these like the events that took place in Super had been mentioned at some point. I think that's going to end up happening, since they have to go on this grand adventure, maybe like in the middle of the universe being rebalanced and whatnot. It's gonna like nerf everyone back, by the end of Z.
So a slight reboot, got it.
That's a theory. That is a theory, a film theory. Thanks for watching. Bye.
I mean, it would.
The Star Blast theory.
If they're going that much out just to explain why the end of Z is different, and why Bulma was like, "Hey, I haven't seen you in 10 years," even though I probably
5
saw
years
you last week fighting Black Frieza or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, honestly, at that point, they should just redo the end of Z at that point, because at that time they didn't know they were going to introduce all these different characters and scenarios. And like, it sounds like to me that Daima almost sounds like fighters, like the main characters get depowered. We have like I don't want to say Majin, but a new threat that has like, these kind of magical powers.
Makaio-shins, I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. So
2 of them.
And it has a connection to the previous saga. So, I mean, I'm mixed on it, to be honest. Like, I do think the animation looks great. The art style, great. I like Goku's new gi. He has, like, a new gi. It's, like, a mixture of the...
Resurrection F and regular gi.
Yeah, it's like a mixture of that. Mm-hmm. So I really like that. I love seeing the power pole being used again after a millennia. Mm-hmm. So that's great. But... at the same time, I'm just like, I can understand fans' frustration of not wanting this. They wanted Super 2, but let's be honest, and I want to point this out. Super, right now, where it is in the manga, is covering the
superhero movie.
Superhero movie, thank you.
It's still
so they're not that far along where Toei can just pick up and start animating. Unless you want what happened. I mean,
they have the Granola, the Moro, and the superhero prequel arc, but like
which are incredible arcs.
But you're
those
right.
are 3 arcs, and they probably need at least maybe 1 or 2 more arcs until they can finally start animating it. Because otherwise, we're gonna have
they should add in filler.
Filler and
Naruto,
and 2 different continuities where the manga is not the same as the anime, so it gets all confusing. And then all the Dragon Ball fanboys will be like, "Well, technically, if you read chapter 5, 6, 7, Goku went super duper Kamehameha God whatever." So
listen, the animation is incredible, and because Toriyama's actually overseeing this, I don't feel like if there's going to be jokes in this because it's Dragon Ball and Toriyama's cannot help himself. But I think the jokes will actually land. It's not going to feel like a blandish thing like it did in GT, like a blatant ripoff of Toriyama's old jokes and such. So,
well, I've heard that this is an online series, like it's
a streaming series, like Crunchyroll. So like it's gonna go on Crunchyroll. So technically,
it also gives me the
go ahead.
Yeah, you go. I was just gonna say, like, I don't think this is a series we should take too seriously, like you said. Like, there's gonna be some gag humor. It's gonna like kind of be like the original Dragon Ball. But here's the thing with what I would like from Dragon Ball. I don't mind them giving us content like this. We have like Dragon Ball the Superheroes, or Dragon Ball Daima. These like kind of like spin-offs where we can watch the gang go on different adventures, stuff like that. But the thing is, if we're going to make things that are in the main continuity, I want to see characters mature and go through more character development, because I don't... Let's be honest. This is
Super 2, that's where that will happen.
This is going to be the 3rd time we see Goku act like a kid, and we already had enough of that in the Super anime where he's like... Because I was re-watching the old, the classic Z Goku in like the Android Saga, Cell Saga.
Were you watching it sub or dub?
I was watching a sub.
Okay, good.
I mean, I'm not watching that shit.
Sub or dub?
Nah, dub is fine.
Not the OG dub, no. They change up too much of the dialogue. It's not the same Goku.
Yeah. But like when examining Goku as a character, just take the shonen trope out of it. Shonen main characters are always goofy and dumb and stuff like that. But if you examine Goku as an adult and a kid, he in the Z is like more. I don't want to say responsible, but he's more serious. He knows when to get serious. He doesn't do the whole like, oh, you look very strong. Punch! Oh no, the world's gonna end.
Oh, that's what happens. That's what happens when Toriyama's out of the picture when it comes to some of these scripts in Super. And then it's like this.
So,
but I will say this. I will say this. Hold on. I want to just sidetrack here. The reason why I bring up sub and dub is not because I care if you like the dub or how Goku's being portrayed in it. It's that you can't look at the dub when you're trying to observe the characteristics of Goku in Dragon Ball Super, because it's always going to fall flat and seem inconsistent if you're taking the dub's, rendition of it. You have to look at the sub, you have to look at the manga, because that's the Goku that, they've been writing for years. That's why you can't look at the American dub material and such for that. But yeah, I'm sorry. It's not about a sub or dub debate or personal preference. It's about what.
It's about how he's originally presented, both in the written content and the visual content.
Exactly.
And
yes.
So, and I just do not like Goku in Super, and I wish he had more of that serious grown-up personality. Yes, I understand Goku is not the smartest guy, but at least he knew when to take a situation serious, and he at least
I think you're getting used to Luffy too much.
Well, most of the time, that's the thing, is that you have to understand the Goku actually is. Here's the thing. The reason why Goku is portrayed so seriously in Dragon Ball Z is because every single time he is, the situation calls for him to be serious. Notice how most of the time he's written out of the story and such, and whenever we
which probably actually is very effective in Z, to be honest, because as someone that's watching One Piece, they do the same thing with Luffy, and it raises stakes, and when when times get desperate, and you gotta start getting on that horse and start taking out the villain and stuff like that, it works.
That's why I'm not necessarily as critical and such to the way that Goku is being portrayed in Super as other people, is because I understand that Z calls for him to be serious, but when you're actually living life with Goku and seeing most things from his perspective, him actually leading the story, you're actually seeing that more goofy side of Goku, which was present in in the original Dragon Ball and other things, where it's he's not going to take something serious unless he knows that the situation is serious. That's the
Super. I felt was a mixture,
and that's the thing about
Battle. But just look at Battle of Gods, the different interpretations from the anime and the movie. In the movie, he comes up to Bulma's party and he's serious and he's like, "Listen, I know I can't defeat you, but I have a plan." In Super, how's he introduced? He's on the top of a ship, and then he's like, let's
not talk about the music. That's a whole separate. God.
Yeah. So he's doing the music and everything.
But I don't know. I'm just I understand they want to go back, and I'm tying this back to Daima. I understand they want to go back to classic Dragon Ball, and I'm fine with that. But the problem is, it comes to how characters can sometimes feel out of character, where it's oh, we gotta heighten this up for a gag or something like that. That's why sometimes I skip out
if Toriyama is running the gag, then I know it's going to land. That's how I feel. If it's Toei running it's gonna fall flat. That's what
with Toriyama he does, and he if you look at the original Dragon Ball, it was a fun comedic adventure, which is something that I don't mind. And then later when he got into Z, it was more mature and it was more serious, which I don't mind. And if you want to go back to how Dragon Ball was written, that's fine.
And that's why you can't look at GT and such, and because and Super as an accurate depiction of Goku from how he's being portrayed, is because most of the time stuff will fall flat and not really come across very well if it's a writer at Toei that's doing it. With Toyotaro, I can say that I think Goku has a lot more consistency with how he's overall written and such, and even the jokes and such do have a better time landing because that Toriyama is heavily involved. Heck, I'm pretty sure I could tell from the way that the superhero prequel arc was written, and this is not Goku, that Toriyama was just involved with the jokes all the way through and everything like that, just because I know Toriyama's writing, I know how he is with Dr. Slump, and I understand his humor. But I know, and I understand a lot of people are nervous about it, and that's why GT has terrified a lot of people, and so did those episodes of Super. I just with Toriyama running running the vehicle. I forgot the metaphor for a second there. He's gonna make it good. I have no doubt in my mind it's gonna the jokes will land when they do
he
stuff
probably
like that.
will, but it's also a thing like this guy's been writing Dragon Ball since the 80s, and he probably has a certain vision, and that vision might not go with everyone's interpretation of Dragon Ball. You know, as a kid, we're mostly raised on Dragon Ball Z, then we go back to Dragon Ball, we watch GT, then we go to Super, and then that first like instant of what we get our interpretation of Goku can be different from what Toriyama sees.
Well, it's not just Toriyama that's writing the script. I mean, yeah, he's involved in writing the script, but again, he's actually overseeing the script. So it's like he's involved, but it's not all Toriyama that's writing it. If you understand where I'm going with.
Yeah.
So I do no, but I understand. It's like we should all remain like skeptical as to how this is going to go. I mean, we don't know how this series is going to be. I'm more optimistic and such. I'm trying to remain optimistic until like we know that we have like there you go, thank you. Until we know for sure how this is going to play out. I think
like I'm not going to give it a try. Like I'm definitely going to give this show a try, but
I mean, it's Dragon Ball. We're going to watch it regardless. It's like it doesn't matter if you try to cancel them or whatnot. It's like we're going to watch it regardless. It's Dragon Ball.
If you want that more serious Goku, he does get like that again in the Moro and Granola arc, like in Z.
Yeah,
that's why I really like those arcs.
Absolutely.
Wait, what's Starblast?
I said read it, champ. The manga arcs are amazing.
I've been taking a break from Dragon Ball and watching One Piece.
You know what? We can't fault him there because Sean, you put him up to that. So like, the man's got to finish his job.
I got him stuck on it.
I'm starting Skype now. I finished.
Yeah, he finished Alabasta. After Skypea, it gets even better.
Vivi's useless. Useless. You can come
pretty
fight
much.
me.
Yeah.
Come fight me.
Did they?
She does have a scene which she does help. You'll see that scene.
She does help.
Yeah, her and Karu. They do help. I think Karu helped the duck.
Karu helps out more than Vivi ever does.
He does.
Come fight me, One Piece fans.
Did they get a new crewmate though?
Yes, Nico Robin.
My anime wife.
Just saying, you know.
Well, easy, buddy. Easy, buddy.
Okay, yeah.
Hands, you know?
She does have a lot of hands. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, she does.
Later she also has a lot of feet. If you want.
I mean, I actually think feet is disgusting.
And in the most recent arc, she's completely naked.
What? Okay, I didn't know about that. Wow. Whoa.
Yeah, and Wano,
looking this up online now.
There's actually 2 times, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep,
okay, listen, let's not go off track. Dragon Ball Daima, listen, animation is absolutely amazing. I think that we're gonna have one other thing that I did hear about Daima is that towards the episodes while they're still adults, we did see a little bit of this in the trailer. We have a more Z style looking show. The style changes once they turn into kids. That's what I heard about the multiple styles thing. I heard that it's gonna have like multiple styles throughout different episodes, but as far as what I know, it's only been actually confirmed is that was the only one that's gonna take place. I don't know about
is it gonna be like drastic changes? Because I know like in anime you always have a different artist or
No, it's like what I heard. Again, this is the rumor, but it's not what's been confirmed. It's the rumor in that. When I talk about changes, it's the difference in styles, like OG Dragon Ball, Cell Saga, Frieza Saga, Buu Saga, all these types of styles, or maybe even the manga style, which I think we did see a little bit of that too, incorporated and such into the show, and it'll change around a little bit. I'm not confirming like what's actually being done. It's more so like a rumor, and only one style change has been confirmed, I think.
Yeah, it might just be from when they're adults into when they're kids. And it just changes.
But it would be cool. It would be cool to have them switch styles. Like, hey, maybe throw in stop motion styles in there. No,
like when he's shooting the Kamehameha towards the end of the trailer.
Yeah, I think so. That was probably more Saiyan Saga style with how they drew the beams.
Yeah, and it looks like he was fighting Vegeta there, and they're fighting around. How they are.
Yeah, I was talking like art styles, not animation style.
But do you guys notice that there's 2 villains? You have the shorter guy with the staff, who's probably the
classic
guy,
Toriyama trope, having the short and the tall guy.
Always gotta have pairs.
Exactly.
Yeah, the taller guy is probably the fighter. I think the shorter guy is...
No, the shorter guy is probably the stronger one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
But
how
I'm
it-
saying he probably doesn't really like do physical fights. I feel like he's
He's gonna be like a
powerful in
Bobbity
a
type.
different way. That's
Yeah.
what I think.
Which
too.
speaking of
Like,
Bobbity,
more
like
so
we did they were looking at Bobbity in the events of the Boo Saga taking place in the
Yep.
in the show, and I will say that and this is from what I understand. There's a very likely scenario that we could see them doing something with Majin Buu again, because
Possibly, yeah.
because we saw the return of Frieza, we saw them bring back another version of Cell. Now all they would have to do to completely redo it is like do something with Majin Buu,
warp his mind or something.
Yeah, which makes
we see
sense.
Mr. Satan as a kid too, but we don't see Boo at all. Besides,
Last time
when
we
they're
saw
watching
Boo
it.
as a kid.
Yeah, that makes bro. Actually,
was
that makes
destroyed.
dude. That actually makes sense.
Oh.
Boo would be the one person that they would have to actually change tactics with, because it's not going to matter. Like the spell, I don't think he would be affected by like whatever wish would take place.
Yeah,
Because
because
probably
the
be
one
just a
Kai,
chibi.
like
no, because Boo is his age is time immemorial. He's existed since the beginning of time, according to a Toriyama interview, and the changes to that, Bibbidi, like what he did, he all he did was figure out a way to tame Boo and control him. He never created Boo. That was only like a previous thing, like I don't remember where that came from. Someone probably remembers. But like yeah, they'll definitely have to do something with Majin Buu, which does I think makes sense overall.
yeah, because they did hide him in the trailer. You don't see him, but like I said, you see Mr. Satan. They're always
Yeah,
together.
that's true. We don't see Boo.
And if he gets turned into a kid, what if he gets turned back into Z Kid Boo and he just starts destroying everything, and uses his mind again?
At the same time, if that's the
That
case,
would
like
be
who do you
cool,
think the
yeah.
character is that Goku is fighting at the very end of the trailer? And like I heard,
But here's
Yeah,
the thing, Boo at this point, he doesn't have all that evil in him unless these
Yeah, that's
new
true.
oh god, what's their names? The part of Bobbity's race or whatever.
the
Oh, God.
Babbidi's race. I don't know.
Well, not
Yeah.
Bobbity's race. What do you call it? The Makaioshins?
Boros?
you
Makaioshins,
said?
yes.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, the
yeah.
Demon
the
Clan.
Makaiosh- Yeah, what if they do something where they like try to put evil back into Boo or something?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They warp his mind and he turns evil again.
Because
could, you
again,
never
that
know.
one little guy, he like was looking at Bobbity and he was like having a fist. Like I don't know if it might be like a relative,
Right, like,
or
look
it
at
might
this
be like
whip
a
of the
underling or
wizard.
something like that. Maybe it's another incarnation of Bibby and Bobbity.
Yeah. Well,
man.
well, we did see one of the characters in there did look like an actual Kai, so he's
Or
probably
maybe
the
they worked
Makaiyoshin.
for him.
Yeah,
know.
so I will say this: we're going to go into a new territory. Maybe going about talking about the demons because I always like that idea of like we always see the heavenly and the angels and the
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
and stuff
This
like
is-
that. I want
Now
to
we
see more
see
of the
the
demons.
hell.
It's ultimately this. I think here I'll say this. This will be a much more interesting watch for me than it would be for them to readapt to adapt the manga. The reason why I say that is because with the manga, we already know what happens if you read the manga.
Yeah.
Not just this is
Yeah,
just for manga readers.
I would agree. It's too soon.
Yes, and it's too
at the
soon.
moment.
With this story, we have no idea what's going to happen. So that means everyone's
Yeah.
going to be surprised. We have a lot more new content,
speculation.
and also one other thing too. We don't have an episode count, but because of the fact that this is a streaming anime, it does not take over the Japanese television time slot. So you know what that means? The opening for Super could still be available as this show is airing. I'm not saying like to confirm like as confirmation. I'm just saying there's a possibility that you could end up having Super and Daima airing at the same exact time. It's just something to
Depending how long
ponder over.
Daima goes for too.
Yes, that does depend.
But
Like,
I just realized if and I'm not talking just about Daima, but I'm talking about an anime in general. If an anime is going on a streaming platform than just airing on TV, would an anime be a little bit more mature and show like a little bit more violence and blood? I know Daima's not going to do it because we got Dragon Ball.
we
Rugrats,
already have confirmation
like-
that this show is going to be aimed towards kids, but that doesn't mean it's going to
Yeah,
have
yeah.
like more adults types of
But
themes.
I'm saying in general, like if
They
an
could.
anime doesn't go,
You're not wrong.
Could it just be more mature?
They could technically do that. It's just they're choosing not to, and I
Because they wouldn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to deal with the television censorship on certain days they have to air.
you're
That's
right.
true,
No,
yeah.
you're right.
That's I'm assuming.
No,
That's
yeah,
true,
you're
yeah.
absolutely right.
I'm not expecting that for Diamond, but I'm saying like maybe in the future, if they say, oh, we're gonna put Super on a streaming platform instead.
Yeah, it should
Would
be.
that maybe give us the violence that we see in the manga?
There is some pretty violent parts in the manga with those chapters I was telling you about with Moro and especially Granola. There's some pretty dark stuff in that.
Personally, I think that they're gonna end up streaming the show on like their own website than Crunchyroll or something like that. And the reason why I say that is just because the show is just what Toei would want to like, make sure that they get money. I don't feel like with Crunchyroll they get as much, traction back when people do that, because piracy is an easy thing. And granted, there's like it's an easy way for them to get subscriptions. The subscription stuff is very common nowadays, like Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix, Crunchyroll, High Dive, like Funimation,
everything, Paramount.
Wait, no, Funimation's gone.
Paramount
all of these other different things. It's like that. I don't know
how. That's the thing now instead of cable.
Yeah, we don't know how this is gonna work. But like,
it would suck if Toei said, "Hey, we're gonna put this on our exclusive streaming platform only in Japan."
No, they won't.
They're not going to do that. No, you want to know why?
Yeah, they're not going to do that, but that would have been hilarious if they announced that, like, hey, look at this new show that you can't watch.
I mean, they could, and then we would have to wait for Funimation's version.
But no, it's not going to happen with this one, because the announcement was specifically made in the U.S. at New York Comic Con. If that was a Japanese thing, they would have just showed it off in Japan and be like, all right, done. Like Golden Week.
But it's just so weird how the panel was to that day. So I would have expect like everything going wrong. I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, no,
but
it's
that would have been hilarious. But I don't know. Like again, I'll give the show a try, but I know right now the fandom is split. I would say just give it a try. If you don't like it, I don't think it's the biggest loss ever. We'll still get new Dragon Ball content in the future. But this is right now, it's just going to be like a little fun thing. I mean,
that's what I'm looking at.
Unless they do something very drastic at the end of this series and say, hey, everything you've seen before is now retcon. And I'm just like, okay, that's stupid. Just taking out Battle of Gods, taking out Resurrection. That's not all canon.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Especially, okay, let me ask you this. Why do you think in the trailer they specifically went back and showed all the other Dragon Ball properties before they showed off Daima?
Yeah, that's true. I like how they did that too.
I think everything will have some form of relevancy. Notice when they showed GT, they showed Super Saiyan 4. Will Goku have something similar like this in Daima, since he's a kid again?
Well, didn't they say in Dragon Ball lore, as a kid, your tail grows back more than as an adult? Or something
they said that no. I think it's because at a certain point, if you are more powerful, if you are powerful enough, you just naturally don't grow the tail back.
Yeah,
it's because you don't have a need. Yeah, exactly. There's no need for the tail. I think though it might be Goku could end up growing the tail back. I don't know. We'll have to.
If they plan to bring on, like,
to see the tails back again, and maybe see Trunks and Goten as babies have the tails.
I don't think that they were born with tails. I think that's because Gohan's a rare hybrid that did have the tail, but Goten and Trunks no.
Yeah, that's true. But maybe it'll be interesting, and maybe Vegeta saying, "Hey, there's more," because they still would have their like battle knowledge and stuff like that. So maybe Vegeta would be like, "Hey, Kakarot, tie that freaking tail around your waist so it doesn't get chopped off.
You need to go Super Saiyan 5.
Or here's the thing though. Yeah, like think about this. If they do have the tail, the full moon, they would have to deal with that again, and Goku can't control that. Vegeta can't.
Yeah, Vegeta.
Goku would have to. I do like that though. Goku would have to learn to control that, and if this does take place after the Granola arc, if this does take place after the Granola arc, I think it would actually help in Goku's mission to learning the Ultra Instinct technique more.
I don't think it's going to be after Granola arc. It looks like it's specifically going to be after Buu Saga.
Yeah, no, I do agree. It's not after the Granola arc. We don't know how this is going to work out, because for all we know, if it does end up going with the theory of like it's going, changing the timeline and such, and making a mild retcon or whatever.
Because here's the thing, if everyone's turned into kids, is it only everyone on Earth or everyone in the universe?
It's not everyone on Earth, because you see people in the
Z Fighters.
Yeah, it's just the Z Fighters. Everyone notice how like all the people cooking and such in the background is like they're all shocked when they see people are turned into kids. All of Bulma's chefs.
But now bringing up Boo, I feel like he's gonna have a big part in this, because they didn't show him for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he might be.
They only showed him on the monitors.
Again.
They only showed him on the monitors with him and Bob.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Which means he's a target. He's specifically a target. That's why they're also showing the Goku Majin Vegeta fight too.
Oh god, here we go again.
So I think that Boo's gonna have a big part in being a big villain in it. Yeah, the two other guys are gonna be the main villains, but I feel like they have the ability to put that evil back into Boo, like what we were talking about. Like what Champ was saying, what if they put the evil back in him? I feel like they have that ability because it looks like they were in hell somewhere when they first show it.
It's the well, it could be the demon realm. I think it's mostly the realm of the Makaio Shin.
Kind of like where Deborah is from, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it almost kind of like in Xenoverse. Remember, like Mira and Toa, like they kind of had like that crystal layer, and they saw all the like images of like past events and stuff like that.
Well, in Xenoverse,
like that, except this looked like it was on a television.
The thing is that in Xenoverse, they the entire depiction of Makaio Shins, and and also like in Dragon Ball Heroes, their depictions of Makaio Shins is not accurate to what Toriyama said in his interview about them. So it's like that's their whole different depiction. I mean, it's definitely going to take inspiration. I think that's 100%.
Yeah.
Like Toriyama's taking inspiration from other many different aspects of this show, but obviously he's doing his own thing, and this is going to be. And I'm going to actually, while we're on the subject of Toriyama, here's the big question people are asking: is this canon? Is this show canon?
I don't think it will be.
I don't think it will be either.
Yeah,
I don't listen.
I think it's going to be a fun
but if your depiction of
fans.
canon, like your understanding of the word canon, is anything that Toriyama writes, technically,
no.
It's like
To me, it's the manga.
Yes, I think. Well, even then, you can't really say the full manga is canon because the whole thing with Bardock. So there's complications and such. Here's the thing: in Dragon Ball Heroes, everything is canon. So that's all you need to.
Super.
That's the only thing that's important. There's
Toriyama retcon the old Z versions, and now the new Broly is canon, and now the new Bardock is canon.
We'll do like a whole thing. We'll do like I think that'll be a subject for another episode. But anyways, guys, like I'm gonna say this, like I think we should be a little bit more optimistic about Dragon Ball Daima. We don't even have a full episode out yet. Let's
optimistic.
Let's not judge. No, let's not. The animation's incredible. Let's not judge the show until it comes out. The only thing that I hate about this show is that it's coming out in the fall of next year, which is way too long. I think we have to wait pretty much a whole year for this show to come out.
Oh yeah, jeez.
That sucks.
Maybe it'll come out for my next birthday.
All right,
that'll be an Anthony birthday wish.
Let's go ahead and close out here.
Like
any final thoughts, guys, before we close out of here?
Yeah, just like we were saying, I'm gonna be optimistic and speculate. It's fun to guess what's gonna happen with, like were you saying with Super. We know what's happened in the manga, so we know what's gonna happen with Super. I know a lot of fans prefer to get that over this, but this is just I feel like this is a fun little addition to give the Dragon Ball fans to hold us over until we get Super 2. So look at it like that. Eventually we're going to get Super 2. It's just going to take a little more time.
Yeah, again, I would say like it. Cautiously optimistic about this. I mean, I cautiously optimistic about
cautiously optimistic.
But again, I would definitely say just give it a try, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to watch it. I mean, we have so much Dragon Ball content that comes out from video games, manga, TV shows, and
even the old
other
series,
little spin-offs. I mean,
if cool shit happens, bro, and this is what's gonna end up happening. Because I know Dragon Ball fans, bro. As soon as they see a really dope fight being animated, that's when everyone comes pouring in.
Back.
Yeah, maybe something that will bring everyone in, and they'll want to know. Oh my god, what's gonna happen next episode? There's gonna be aspects just like with Super that we don't like. They're still gonna watch it.
The premise of it's Dragon Ball Rugrats edition that really turns people off.
But let me ask you this: if there's a cool fight being animated and there's something interesting actually going on, don't you think that people are going to be wanting to watch anyway?
Yeah, they're going to watch it.
Exactly.
They're going to watch it.
You guys are going to see it. You guys are going to see it. Just try not to judge it and such before it comes out. That's the final.
Unless that fight is a Makaio Shin holding baby Goku by the tail and just doing this. Just slapping.
That's not going to happen.
I don't think he'll go that far back.
That's not going to happen.
Maybe.
No. All right, guys. With that being said, let us know your thoughts about Dragon Ball Daima and the other New York Comic Con reveals down in the comment section down below. We're going to be closing out right now. We guys did hope that you enjoyed this episode. We will see you guys in the comment section. Kamehame. Hey. Till then, guys.
It's gonna suck.
Thanks for listening to our podcast episode. If you're on YouTube and watch the video, then thank you for watching as well. We are your hosts,
Star Blast Studios alongside
Champ Animation.
and me, Daredevil 19.
And if you enjoyed our episode on Spotify, be sure to give us a follow and rating.
You can also leave us a comment under the Q&A, and we do thank you if you do. And if you did watch this on YouTube, be sure to give us a like if you liked it, and a subscribe-a-roo if you enjoyed it. And we will catch you on the next episode of the Plastic Power Podcast.